Oopsie. Hello, hello, filmmakers. Some technical. There we go. Now I can see y'all, or you can see me. I can't see you. You can see me. But hi, my name is Kayla Marie Coates. I am the producer, production coordinator for Blackmagic Collective. But tell us who you are, where you're watching from, what is your main discipline, and tell us where you're tuning in from today. We'd love to know and shout you out and all of that jazz. So what is Blackmagic Collective? Blackmagic Collective is we are a nonprofit filmmaking organization, and we do a ton of different events, educational events, networking events. We have chapters throughout the country. We have a film festival that, by the way, this is your last week to submit to that film festival. The submission deadline is October 1st. So make sure to get those submissions in. The submission fee is $5 if you are a member, and membership is completely free, no strings attached. Everything we do is free except for the $5 submission fee for the film festival. We also have career advancement diversity initiatives to help people of underrepresented communities get seen by people who can hire them, and have more educational based initiatives as well. And we want to thank our sponsors, Blackmagic Design and Sigma Lens, who allow us to be able to bring these types of events, initiatives, chapters to you all year long. And make sure to stay tuned until the end, because we will be giving away a seat of DaVinci Resolve Studio, thanks to Blackmagic Design, which is a $295 value, to one of our live attendees who is interactive in the chat, asking questions, doing all the things, and who is a member. So make sure to put your questions in the Q&A box so that we can answer all of them for acting up in Atlanta. And because I am here in LA, I am not a proper moderator for this Atlanta-based event. So we are bringing back one of our special Atlanta-based moderators, Lisa Maydwell, who is a writer-director originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and now Atlanta local. So let me bring Lisa up. Hello, hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi. Great. Thank you so much for coming back to us. And I'm glad you liked us enough the first time.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, you're an absolute joy. All righty. So I'm going to let you take it away because you brought some amazing panelists up today. So go ahead and give yourself a little intro, and then we'll bring them up.
All right. Hello, I'm Lisa Maydwell, filmmaker who relocated to Atlanta to make movies. And we're going to be joined today by Banza.
Hello.
Go ahead and tell us a little something about yourself, Banza.
I knew you were going to do that. I'm Banza, Pandora, J, Townsend, Tracy. I just moved to Atlanta August 1st, so I'm only on month 2 of acting in Atlanta. I've been acting maybe 8 years, and that's all I want to do. That's it. So that's it for right now.
Okay. And next we're going to bring up Rasheda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rasheda Randle. I am also originally from Indiana. I've been in Atlanta for 8 years. It's been 8 years since I moved to Atlanta. I am an actress. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA. I'm also a filmmaker. I have a production company called Ivy League Productions. And I also am the founder of the Circle City Film Festival, which is an annual film festival that I do back home in Indianapolis.
Yes, awesome. And finally, our gentleman on the panel, Lawrence.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? My name is Lawrence Terrill. I'm an actor, filmmaker, director, producer, screenwriter. I do it all, everything. Edit, I write songs, record songs, do poetry, screenwriter, all of the above, from cradle to grave. I do it. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi, and I was in the military for a period of time. And when I got out of the military, I pursued acting full time. Went to the New York Film Academy, graduated there, went back for photography, screenwriting, producing, editing, everything, and I've been living in Atlanta for about 2 years, a little bit over 2 years now, and loving being here, and looking forward to working with several Atlanta-based actors, and even going to New York and LA as well. So, yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're going to be talking about acting in Atlanta, the acting scene in Atlanta. Is it worth moving here? We have a lot of people. We have people in Atlanta saying the city's closed, people, stop coming. But is this a great place to act? What are the advantages to acting in Atlanta, and maybe what are some disadvantages? So that's what we'll be discussing today. So my first question to each of you, and just jump in, is what is a good age to start acting? When did you start your acting careers?
Ladies first.
Well, I don't know that there's necessarily a good age to start acting. You can start acting whenever you decide that you want to. You can be, a toddler. You can be elderly. You can be middle. It doesn't matter. There's roles out there for everyone. So I don't know that there is a true definitive answer for what's a good age to start acting. I know for me personally, acting has been something that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. I just didn't really have the I don't know. I think I was afraid at that point. I think I was afraid, and then I didn't have necessarily the support from my family as I would want. I wanted to move to LA and be this super big child star, and they were like, "Girl, nobody's doing all that." So it wasn't until I got to I think college was when I really started to dig into the art of acting and filmmaking. It definitely is when I started getting into filmmaking, because I majored in radio, TV, film in undergrad. But while I was there, I also did some theater classes, and I did some stage production. Once I graduated college was when I really developed my love for the stage and just for acting overall. And that's when I really started to take it seriously. So it's really, really a whenever you're ready type of situation.
Okay.
And I would love to see younger people get into it, because kids don't have the fear and the bad habits that we have, like Rasheda mentioned, like not the support or fear of if you can do it. Kids don't have that. So if you start a kid that is really interested in the arts early, they can develop that. They don't have the fear of I'm not doing this right. It's just more natural. And if you can develop that earlier on, I wish to God I would have had someone to see that, because I used to have cameras when I was little. I've always had a microphone. But your parents, they're just trained to protect you. So they want you to have something viable. But if they know early that this is a viable career, you have IU graduates, so many people in Indiana that graduate from these kind of things and make viable careers out of it. But our parents just think protect you, so they want you to do business or. So I think the younger you can do it, the better. But it's never too late to start doing it.
Good point. Good point.
Okay. I'd like to piggyback on what both panelists said, Rasheda and Banza. I think acting there's no age limit on acting. You can start whenever you want to start acting. As young as you want to start acting, from a baby all the way up to the point where you're Colonel Sanders' age. So there's no right time to start. I think the time to start is when you're serious about it. Because this is not a career path for the faint of heart.
Right.
So people think they can just jump in and say, okay, I'm gonna be this superstar. They see Viola Davis, they see Denzel Washington, they see Leonardo DiCaprio, they see them on the screen and say, okay, I want to be just like them. And I'm gonna jump out here and I'm gonna shoot for the stars. But they don't understand, they don't see what goes on behind the scenes of the hours upon hours we put into training, and the hours upon hours just being on set. It's a lot that goes into it. And then from that point, the struggles that you have to go through of being an actor when you don't have the financial support to help support the craft, because it's a lucrative business. You can make a lot of money in it, but you have to get to a certain level to get to the point where you're making that money. But before then, You may have to live on ramen noodles and
the testimony today because I got some for you.
So you said you had to get to a certain level. How do you prepare? What should a person do to prepare to act in Atlanta or anywhere else? What are some good preparations?
Train. So the thing that irks me most is when I hear people say things like, I don't need to train, I have natural talent. And it makes me want to rip my wig out. Like, I don't care how much talent you have. I don't care how much talent you have. If you are not training, like one of my favorite acting coaches, he even said, you want to be a full-time actor, you want to be taken seriously. What are you doing every day to do that? Like there's people, like there's doctors, they do internships and residencies. This takes that level of skills, and well, not just skill, but that level of training. You have, like you said, like Lawrence was saying, that's something you have to take seriously. And I don't like people that don't respect acting. There's people that have a natural talent for basketball, but somebody will train you under the bleachers because they put in the work and the training to do it. So if you're not continuously training forever, it's not going to work out well.
Natural talent and technique are two totally different things.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You can have, like she said, you can have that natural talent, but what are you doing to hone into that skill? What are you doing to reel that in? You should be doing 10 to 15 hours or using 10 to 15 hours at least each week on your craft, studying your craft. I don't care if it's watching a movie and studying every single. That's how I watch TV. People don't like watching TV with me because I study every little thing, every little thing from the background to the way that the actor picked up a cup.
Right. Yes. And the people that are not acting in the scene, what are they doing?
Yes, exactly. It can be reading books. You can't see, but I have a whole bookshelf, a whole row on my bookshelf that's all books about acting. It can be reciting a monologue. I don't know. Take your favorite song and make it a monologue. Like something that's helping you to practice. And like she said, training is going to be super important. You should never not be a student in this industry. You should always, even Denzel at Washington still takes acting classes.
Yes.
So you should never stop being a student.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lauren.
No, I was just about to say, I think what the training is most definitely the most important thing. And I think another most very important piece is pushing your ego to the side. Don't be so prideful. Because I remember when I first started, when I actually went to New York Film Academy, and they wanted us to act like a baby, and I was like, you want me to act like a baby? You want me to crawl on the floor and act like a baby and roll on my back and all that stuff? It's like, I'm a grown man. What am I going to do that for? But there's a lesson in humility in that, because when it comes to acting, you have to take on roles that you may not be comfortable with, and you have to understand these characters are real people. If you have to play Hitler, you can't judge the fact that what Hitler did. You have to become Hitler. You have to put your mindset in that. You have to become this bad person, this person who you may think is an evil and bad person or whatever. And it's like there's no judgment, so you got to get rid of the judgment and become that person. And like I said, just being having the humility to just humble yourself and pushing your pride to the side or whatever, and just taking that role on and just being all in, So yeah, that's one of my inputs in it.
And can I just add to that, just a couple of other quick little tips to get prepared. Make sure you have industry standard headshots.
Definitely.
I'm not saying just go, stand in front of a pretty background and take a picture. Like, they need to be industry standard. Exactly. I did a casting one time for a film, and a girl handed me a photo of her at the club. That's to the side. Yes. Standard headshots. Get to know the individuals who are in your market.
Yes.
Other actors, other filmmakers, who your casting directors are. Learn them. Know what they look for when you're doing auditions. Don't just train on how to act. Train on auditioning. Train on in-person auditioning. Train on self-tape auditioning. Learn the different terminology that is, you know, within a script or when you're on set. There's so much research. See, that's what we're saying. You all understand how much work goes into actually being an actor. It is more than just memorizing your lines, getting on stage or getting in front of a camera and reciting them. It is so much more than that. Definitely do your research, because you're going to run into people who are going to try to get over on you. That's one of the downsides of the industry. Yeah. A lot of people are gullible, and they will believe the first person that says that they're going to make them a star. And those Disney events.
Those cattle calls that they do. It's like, hey,
cattle calls. Hey, we've got producers from Disney and Nickelodeon and all this stuff. And then you get up in front of them, they're gonna say, "Oh my God, your child is a star. We want to make them a star." And then they're gonna say, "That'll be $1,000, please."
Right. Exactly. No. I actually made it to that when I first started looking to acting. They had this huge meeting that they brought everybody, this cattle call, say everybody want to be an actor, come on out or whatever. They bring you to, they had different rounds. Okay, round one, they look at everybody's headshots and look at their resume, and they say, okay, look, you fit the bill. Okay, here, we're going to see you to round two. Round two, they tell you, okay, well, you made it to round two. Now it's going to cost you $700 to $1,000, $1,500 to go to this location to be in front of this producer, director, and all this stuff. So yeah, it's so many people that prey on people that don't know about the industry and they don't understand the industry, whatever. So the research, like you're saying, and doing the homework of figuring out how to really break into the industry, talking to people who are already in the industry. You see them on TV, you see them that's all in, talking to those individuals and finding out their path, because there are several different paths to get to that end result, you know. So it's just that it's a grind. It's a constant grind every day. You know?
Yeah, that's why it's good to network, so that you can find out from people like Rasheda, Lawrence, and Banza of scams and of things that are legitimate. That's why networking is so important. What do you think about extra work?
I will say extra work is necessary to get experience. It's perfectly fine for you to do extra work to gain experience. It's perfectly fine for you to love doing extra work and that's all you want to do. That's great. If you're wanting to be a serious actor, don't get too comfortable with it. Don't put it on your resume.
Don't put it on your resume.
Unless you are built. If you have nothing else on your resume but extra work, that's it. That's all you got. You've done no acting whatsoever. You're just trying to get your foot in the door, and you need something tangible to present to people to show that you have some sort of experience. Great. But as soon as you start booking speaking roles and stuff, knock all that stuff off. You don't need it.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, do it. Thanks.
And so if you are doing extra work, and I remember the gentleman Lisa introduced us to, he used to work with Fred Sanford. He said he did tons of extra work, but he wasn't trying to be seen because that wasn't his end goal. It was for the work. Because if you do that and they keep seeing you, then how they're going to cast you in some of those shows when they just saw you in the background? So if you're doing it for the work, don't try to hurry up and get in front of the camera. Just do your job in the back and go on. Then he ended up getting a guest star role on Sanford and Son, because even though he did the extra work, he wasn't in front of the camera as the extra. So if you're doing it just to work, do extra work in the background so you can work on your career in the front.
Yeah. And push to do stand-in work too, if you can, or feature. You know, just that way, that gets you directly in front of the director. Yeah. You're not necessarily just somebody else in the crowd. You actually get to be right in front of the director.
And I would say, if you're going to do extra work, most definitely, piggyback on what everyone said, there is extra work. If you're going to do extra work, it's a good way to get a starter to figure out the industry or how to. Sorry. But but a good way to do extra work is it's a good way to be able to get on set and see how things work on set. And when you're on set, network, talk to people, figure out because there's so many people in different walks of life that's doing extra work, and you can network with those people, and those people may have different projects that they're working on, and you can jump inside their projects. But the main thing is, don't let that be your end goal. So if you can learn everything you can from doing extra work while being on set, and then from that point you move away from doing extra work. I mean, I did extra work for a period of time myself, and from that point, once I went all in, because I wasn't able to go all in with acting full time, I did extra work just to get on set and network and talk to the director and talk to the producers and talk to the different actors. They normally try to keep you away from them,
right?
I mean, it is what it is. but like I said, it's use it to your benefit, though. No, use it to your benefit, and then once you get what you need from that, and you're going to be a serious actor, and you realize this is what you want to do seriously full time, then stay completely away from the extra work, because now, like Banza said, they can't cast you in this role because they saw you in the background, Right. So it cancels out. It cancels things out for you if you want to be a serious actor.
And another thing, because I do extra work sometimes to go as a director and producer to see how things work on set, just to get my skill set up. And sometimes I notice actors as background actors who are talking, not listening, not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You never know who's watching you. You don't know who's in the audience watching you. You may come back for a serious role, and that person remembers you, not doing what you're supposed to do on set, and it could hurt you. So always be professional. That's definitely important.
Actually, I got something to say about that. I actually got my first gig with the TV show Lost from doing extra work, right? So I did extra work. The casting director actually had my headshot and resume. I was did background work on a show called North Shore, and the casting North Shore got canceled, and the casting director, they went on to cast for the TV show Lost. And they had my portfolio to call me up, ask me if I want to do some, call me up out of the blue, ask me if I want to do some background work on the show. I was like, sure, cool, not a problem. And then they called me up one day, asked me if I want to audition for a role, and I was like, sure. At this point, I had no training, right? And I went into audition for the role, and the director asked me, have I ever trained before? And I thought about it, and I said, I asked him, do you count lying to get out of trouble when I was younger as acting? He thought about it. He's like, okay, all right, no, let's see. So I did the audition, and he was like, okay, all right, that's good, it's good. Now let me see you lie to get out of trouble. So I had to do it impromptu scene with the casting director, of me lying to get out of trouble. So and that actually booked my first role, But at that time, we was kind of going back to what we were saying about the training. I was thinking that, okay, you know what, I did that. That was kind of cool. All right, no, I want to do this now, whatever, right? But then I started taking acting classes, and I realized how much I did not know. I was lucky enough to book that role. I was very lucky to book that role. It doesn't happen like that all the time.
Right.
Some people may end up lucky like that in a situation to book a role in the Golden Globe winning show, whatever, But like I said, when I got really serious about it and understood how much training and everything goes to it, it just took me to a whole nother level. Took to a whole nother level. So, yeah.
Do you recommend getting an agent?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sorry, I just jumped in.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I think an agent really cuts down the red tape for you. You can go out there, you can go on Actors Access, you can go on Backstage and book roles, and that really helps. I mean, you can book roles through those platforms and mediums, but having an agent really takes you to a whole level of auditioning. you know, because you get auditioned for roles that you can't see on Actors Access and Backstage, you know. And just working with an agent, they will actually give you more, you can get more information from them about headshots and what to do with your resume, and how they can actually book you for different, how they can actually get you auditions for different roles for different TV shows or movies or whatever, you know. And once you've learned a lot from those different agents, once you learn so much from an agent or whatever, you pretty much kind of like, it's kind of like riding a bike from that point. You know, you take the information and you just run with it. You know, say, okay, hey, I know I need solid headshots. I know I need a solid resume, and I know I need a solid demo reel. And what does that look like? And you just continue to research and figure those different things out. Who are the best photographers? Who can I go to get a demo reel if I don't have footage? What do our resume supposed to look like? You know, because I've seen a lot of people who have headshots, and you did it like the cell phone and out outside the club. People have headshots like that, and it's just not good. And agents they'll tell you right away, nope, that's not going to work. Right. You know,
your agents will advocate for you. Yeah, of course you can book roles on your own. Absolutely. You have access to, like you said, all the actors' resources. And yes, you can do it on your own. And even with an agent, you can still book certain roles on your own. That doesn't mean that you stop seeking out your own roles because you have an agent. Your agent works for you. You don't work for your agent works for you.
Absolutely.
I have a preference. There are a lot of large agencies that are out there, a lot of them here in Atlanta. And of course they have, you know, the reputation, you know, with some of the bigger casting directors and things like that, or different producers and stuff. And so they're kind of believed to have the cream of the crop, right? You got to be a certain caliber to be a part of this particular agency. However, I prefer boutique agencies over those large agencies, because then with those larger agencies, I become just another face on the roster. With a boutique agency, and I'm speaking for myself, and I've had multiple agents in the Midwest market, and they've literally done nothing for me. Nothing. I moved to Atlanta. I got with the boutique agency. I'm still with my agent to this day. My agent has rides for me in every which way. Listen, my car got stolen right before I was supposed to go to North Carolina to film a project. She's like, you need to take my car? My headshots weren't as great as they should have been. She's like, let me get you with a photographer. I will pay for your headshots.
Wow.
Get you seriously, get you an agent that believes in you just as much as you believe in yourself, that wants the same things for you that you want for yourself, so that you don't just become Black girl number 37 on the roster.
Yeah.
That's not to offend anybody or anything like that. It's just the truth.
Absolutely.
They're going to have 15 other women that look like me. The only difference is I'm probably going to have freckles, and they're going to say, oh, here's one project. Here's one needle in the haystack. We need a Black girl with freckles. Boom, there she is. It's the truth. It's the truth. So find what works for you. Find what works for you. And it's okay to have agents that are in other markets. If you have a Southeast agent, you can have a New York agent. You can have a LA agent. That's perfectly fine. But just fine. And then also know the difference, and we don't have to get into this right now, but know the difference between a manager and an agent.
Yeah. And that's my goal here, is just to take my time. And I even spoke with your friend Rasheda Sherry, who's been ridiculous and helpful. Don't rush into getting an agent down here. Like, I'm represented. I have 2 agents who have been remarkable, and I do love the boutique agency because that we are way more personable because they don't have as many people to keep up with. But they've both been really great. But coming down here, I see a lot of the agencies, because there's so many agents in Atlanta, they are exclusive. So you don't want to just jump into a contract with an agent here. Do your research. Focus on training and making casting directors your fan first. So, and that's helped a lot, getting multiple auditions from the same casting directors. So I'm like, I'm not in a rush to get an agent here. Like Rasheda and both Lauren said, research who's down here, what they do, like, and what they're actually doing for their clients. Listening to Rasheda talk about hers, I'm like, who is this?
Right. Everybody's gonna be like, I need that one.
I ain't giving that out. If I refer somebody to her, she will absolutely hear me out. She will ask me what I think about them and everything. Like she's
and work with your agent. Like your agency, they get what, 20% usually. That means they're doing 20% of the work. You're supposed to be doing 80%. You're still supposed to be out there looking for stuff, booking
that's in
stuff.
that Midwest market, girl. That's in that Midwest market. No, it's 10%.
Yeah.
Well,
10%.
But 10%, that means you should be doing 90% of the work for yourself, trying to get out there.
If you, well, show business is 90% business and 10% show. But if you came to when I did the Actors Roundtable, I can't remember if you were there or not, but I made a lot of people upset when I told them, I asked them if they had an agent. If you have an agent, raise your hand. People raised their hand. I said, who's paying their agent 10%? I was the only person that raised my hand. Yeah. I said, who's paying 20%? Everybody who raised their hand before raised their hand. And I said, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are getting played.
Yeah.
Your agents are double dipping.
Absolutely.
And they didn't like that. They well, you know, they were defensive of their agents, which, you know, hey, rightfully so.
They don't know any better.
Again,
and their agents are happy that they're defending them.
that, you guys, is the reason why I created Circle City Film Festival, to provide resources and tools and knowledge to people who may not have them or don't know where to go to get them. Because when I was coming up as an actor in Indianapolis, Banza, you were there. I was leaving Indianapolis, going to Chicago and going to Atlanta. I would get off of work at 5 o'clock, get on the highway by 7 o'clock, drive 8 hours to Atlanta, get here, train or rehearse for a show, whatever it was that I was doing, get back on the highway the next morning, get back to Indiana. I was
Beyonce is the hardest working person I've met in this industry.
Well, I got a couple people that I can show you that works a lot harder than me.
Like she has no tailbone, like they say about Beyonce. It's all work, no sitting.
I mean, but that just goes to show that when you're passionate about something and you're looking for something, then you won't let nothing stop you from going after it.
Absolutely. And it's something I like to tell people when it comes about getting an agent, right? Is I break it down like this, like buying a car. When you go to buy a car, you go and make sure the car looks good. It's the model that you want. You want to make sure the cars are good. You want to make sure it runs good, it smells good, sounds good, and everything, you know, and it can, handle the road, So it's got the safety, it's got all the bells and whistles that you want on, right? So when it comes to getting an agent, you're the car and the agent is the buyer. So you got to be ready to go when you get with that agent. An agent, don't expect to get with an agent and expect an agent to get you ready for the industry. You need to be ready for the industry before you get an agent.
So they can shop you.
Exactly.
It goes back to what Rasheda was saying, the difference between a manager and an agent. Like the agent is, they want the package ready so they can shop, but the manager is more helping develop and yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that information. Now, Rasheda, you said you have a production company. Can you tell me, as an actress or actor, what is the advantage of having a production company?
You always work. Number one, as an actor, you are a business. Absolutely. You're a business. So even if you don't have a production company to create an LLC your name, you're a business, right?
Good advice.
Because I have the knowledge, the skill set, the training, the experience to create content, create films, I always have an opportunity to work. Not just because I want to be in my own projects all the time, but no, I am an actor too, and I am an actor first. So yeah, you're gonna see me in somewhere. Whatever original content that Ivy League Productions is producing or putting out, you're gonna see me in there. But again, it's because when you have the abilities to create content, why not create it for yourself? Isn't that the point?
Absolutely.
Right.
Aside from, just loving the art of filmmaking, maybe you don't want to be an actor, but at least, you can also create content for fellow actors, for your friends, whether it's reels that you're creating for them or whatever the case may be. But before the pandemic, I was really heavy into filmmaking. Obviously, I've done the whole, taking my films to festival routes, distributing my films. Things my daddy should have told me was my last big production. I've done some short films since then. But that's been lucrative for me because not only does having a production company keep my skills sharp,
Right.
but it also provides another stream of income for me to fund the dream. It's all a part of funding the dream.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference though. But I actually just finished shooting a film called Surviving Matters. And like Rasheda was saying, it's like when you create your own content, you keep yourself working. You're constantly sharpening your skills. And I think what hinders actors a lot of times are they're sitting on waiting for people to give them jobs. Exactly.
Definitely. Yes.
At the Film Academy, there was a lot of great actors there, and I was like, these people are great. They're really good. I mean, why haven't I ever heard of them? And after sitting back and thinking about it, and I realized that these actors are very good, but they just don't have the opportunity. For every one role, you got 500 people auditioning for that one role. So just think about that. 500 people auditioning for every role that you are trying to audition for. And the odds are very slim on your side. And unfortunately, it's kind of like the industry is kind of like a popularity game, And it's not about the most talented. It's about who has the most fans or whatever, who has the most followers. If you got 1 million people on Instagram following you, you may not be the most talented, but when it comes to producers looking at that, they're trying to sell the film. So they're going to take that person who is less talented, but they got 1 million followers or even 50,000 followers to be inside a film because they know they have out of 50,000 people, probably it's going to be 100,000 people that see the film because nobody's going to watch the film by themselves, But it's just you want to create those opportunities for yourself and to give yourself a chance, and you got to make people recognize who you are. What do they say? Recognize.
Yeah, you can't sit around just waiting for somebody to give you an opportunity. And I brought up things my daddy should have told me for a reason. I lost my track. But that film started as just a way for friends to work together and do something. Literally, Lakita came up to me at an event one time and was like, "You need to write something for us to do so that we can all work together." Okay. And I finished the script that, I had already started and cast all my friends or friends of friends. And we created something that I consider to be magical because that film still lives on today. And that was 5 years ago. And it just got released on Tubi. And, it was, I sold it to sign a distribution deal with Maverick. A year ago or so. And so it just released this year. And so it's like, that's just something that's just going to live on. And all of that was created just so that we all could have an opportunity.
Absolutely. And that's how I take a page out of Issa Rae's book. And there's a lot of, not just Issa Rae, there's a few actors out there that called their own number, like Sylvester Stallone. He cast himself in
right.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Good Will Hunting, they cast himself in that, And like I said, just bring Issa Rae, what's that same show? The Misfortunes of an Awkward Black Girl. She sold at the HBO net, became Insecure. So it's so many different. You have to call your number. If you're not getting opportunities, you have to call your own number. And honestly, agents love when you create your own content, because now when you create your own content, they can take that content and they can actually shop you around with that. Even with your auditions. I mean, if you do your auditions a certain way, when I do my auditions in front of a green screen. You know, I'm not going to tell everybody to do that, because you have to be skilled at doing that. I do visual effects as well, so I can put myself in different places. So I can turn my auditions to make it. I can take my auditions and make it look like it's an actual demo reel, because I know how to do all that, do the sound and background and special effects work or whatever. So, but it took me hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of training to learn how to do those things. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody to just jump out there and do that, but just having those audition reels, you can set those things up a certain way to make it a reel as well. You know, and just set things up so you can call your number and give yourself more opportunities, and give your agents and managers or whatever more material to use to shop you around. You know, it makes a huge difference.
Okay. Are any of you in any upcoming productions that you want to talk about?
I am. I just shot a TV series called The Secret Life of Amy Benson that's going to air on Passionflix TV. And I have the Lipstick Monologues coming up. Audrey Ori presents the Lipstick Monologue. So in addition to film, I also am a producer of and director of stage productions. And so the Lipstick Monologues is something Banza was actually a part of the Lipstick Monologues when we took it on tour to Indy once before. But it is just a collective ensemble type of show, but it's a different type of monologue show. So that is going to be November 12th.
Did you say November 12th?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what is it? Synchronicity Theater or something like that. I forget what it's called. But yeah, I do have that coming up where I'll be directing it as well as performing in the show.
Here in Georgia.
Here in Georgia, correct.
Yes. And Banza, what do you have coming up?
Still healing, but auditioning. So nothing coming up right now. I found out there's one film we have to reshoot in Indiana, but that's it for right now.
The whole thing, or?
I have this curse where every time I do a film, the cinematographer loses the footage. And this has been 5 different ones. So it's not the person. It's the cinematographer. It's not the cinematographers, it's the curse, because it's 5 different people have lost our footage before. So yeah.
Wow.
When does it happen? So
wow. Thank God it happened on our film.
Right. I'm being tested, but we don't give up over here.
Lawrence, what do you have coming up?
Well, I actually have a film that should be coming out here pretty soon on Tubi. I shot it with a filmmaker named Ayana, but that's based in Birmingham, Alabama. We shot a film called The Eye, so that film should be coming out here pretty soon. I just finished shooting my short film Surviving Matters. I'm one of the leads inside that film. I have another film that we're going to be working on with Diana Rose and Joyce Licorice. Have that film. I'm going to be shooting that next month, and I have several projects that I'm going to be several projects in the works right now that I'm going to be shooting short films, feature-length films. So I have a list of them, and I'm actually working with a producer in Mississippi right now. He actually shot Bruce Willis's last film called A Day to Die. His name is Curtis Nichols. I'm working with him. He's actually shooting he's working on a pilot, a TV show in Mississippi. So I'm working with him on that, and I'll be getting with him and being a part of that film. And also, like I said, by me being a writer too, I have a lot of works that I'm writing on that I'll be shooting as well. So I'll be doing a lot of casting out here. Matter of fact, my goal is every month shoot something.
Wow.
Yeah, shooting something. You know, so you will see a lot of casting calls going out from me, you'll see a lot of casting calls going out for me. Either over
please shoot them my way, because I have several people who are looking to be in production. Yeah,
sure, most definitely. So and that's why I normally send stuff out on Instagram. I send stuff out on Access. I send it on Backstage. Yeah, I'll be sending those out very soon here. So got another. That'll be. I'm still getting word about one production that I'm in. I haven't got a solid date for that one, but that one's will be shooting pretty soon there. But project scheduled for next month to be shooting, and several other projects down the line here too. So,
do you all do stage play and screen, big screen?
Yes, I do, and that's a whole other topic of discussion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was my Achilles heel. That's why I keep trying to do it, because I'm trying to build the muscle of my weak points. So I try to keep in theater every once in a while, because one, that's just where you learn the most, in my opinion. Having that, it's live, there's no going back, there's no retakes, getting that together. But that's not my strongest point, so that's why I keep trying to do it. So like when Rasheda mentioned lipstick monologues, she worked with me forever to try to get me to fix my cadence on it. And I was very new to acting, so I didn't know what she was talking about. So then years later, it clicks. After the show, mind you, it clicks, and I'm like, this is what she's telling me to do. So that plays in my head all the time, which is why I keep talking about training. And like, she kept telling me, break up your cadence. And like, I had no idea what she was talking about. Until maybe 3 years later, I'm like, well, yeah. So now I've come a lot farther in theater, but that's just one thing I always want to get back to, because it reopens the wound and just keeps getting you a little bit stronger. And I think it helped prepare me so much for film.
Yeah.
So you have. Oh, go ahead, Lawrence.
Oh no, you fine. You go ahead.
I was gonna say you've got two different kind of actors. You have the actors who started in theater and transitioned to film, and you have actors who started in film who refuse to transition to theater. Who struggle with transitioning to theater. Let me say that. There are some where they just refuse to do theater, but then there are some who are intimidated by theater because they were rooted in on camera work. That's where they started. And they have a really hard time with that transition because it is different. To an extent. Yes. To an extent. It's all acting. But when you're on stage, you have to present a certain way. You have to know where not to move, or where, you have to worry about your blocking. And even still in on camera work, you still have to do the same thing, right? You can't go out of frame, you can't do this, that, and the other. So there's a lot of similarities, but a lot of on-camera actors, they get comfortable with that. All right, cut, and go back to one. And they're not comfortable with, well, if you mess up, you just got to keep going, because the audience, they don't know.
Right.
Until you look like a deer in headlights, then they know.
Yeah, so you get a lot of on-camera actors who don't like theater, but I guarantee you every actor who is rooted in theater will probably tell you that theater is where their heart is. It is something so thrilling about being on stage. I love doing camera work. I absolutely love it, but it's something about being on that stage. I returned to the stage earlier this year in Her Lies, His Secrets, which is a play that I did with Dorian Wilson, Jeremy Meeks, Jamal Woolard, and Trey Ireland, produced by, you guys know,
DP.
DP.
You guys call him DP. I can't. Antoine DeMarco, also known as DP DeMarco. I don't know why that's so hard for me. But I returned to the stage, and it was like this big deal for me, because I had been away for so long, and it's just like once I got here, I was just like, oh, I'm home. I just love it. But it definitely. I always tell people who are asking about getting started in acting, how do I get started in acting? Start in community theater. Start there, or at least try it one time. because it is a great way to keep your skills sharp. It's a great way to hone on your skills, like Banza was saying earlier, and to continue to sharpen that iron.
Yeah. So with me, I don't do as much theater because I wear so many hats. I'm writing the screenplays, I'm producing screenplays, I'm filming, I'm editing, and I do a whole lot of this. But that doesn't stop me from training. I still train, but it's dependent on the level of production I have going on. So anytime I can be in there and train, I'm in the training. And here's the thing: when it comes to training, right? I love theater, fan of theater, don't really do much theater or whatever, but that's by design that I don't do much theater right now because I'm building my brand, right? So I mean, building my brand and getting to the level of platform and the level I want to be at. Now I can reach back and to be a part of theater. So, but while I'm training, I treat my training like it's theater, like I'm on stage. Going to being at different training locations around here, going to different school studios around here where people train. I visit a few, and one thing I've noticed, a lot of people will get like 2 or 3 page scenes and perform those 2 or 3 page scenes like dialogue in class. Me, when it comes to me training, I always get a play. I get plays with heavy dialogue, and I do like 10 to 20 pages, and that's the way I do my scenes. Teachers may get upset at me or whatever, but like, hey, I'm training, shut up. No, I pay for this. This is my audience. I pay for you to listen to me. So, but that's what I treat these acting classes I go to like it's a stage. I'm performing here, and it's heavy dialogue. I mean, like remember like the last scene I did, we did fences, and it was 12 pages, and we just cut the dialogue, but that's just my format when it comes to. That's one thing I love to do. I don't really pull from movies because movie scenes are too short. They're not as long or whatever. So heavy dialogue. So that way, I'm really working that muscle. Theater is where you really, really work that muscle. Because like Rasheda said, it's like Rasheda and Banza said, no, there's no takebacks. There's no takebacks. You get up there and you go. If you mess up, you gotta figure out how to get back there. You know how to get back on script. So it can be intimidating, but it's. But that's the art, though. That's the muscle, and when you get used to exercising that muscle on stage or whatever, being in front of the camera is easy. So it's like, okay, you want me to? Oh, you just want me to do this in the part? Oh, these 3 pages? Okay, let's go. I got that. You can easily do those scenes or whatever. They give you the scene the day before, or a few minutes before. You already got to learn, because with theater, you used to learning heavy dialogue.
Right.
So when you get used to learning heavy dialogue, it's these smaller pieces of dialogue. It's not as hard or whatever. But just understanding that your brain is a muscle. It's like going to the gym, and theater is like going to the gym. When you're studying heavy dialogue, learning heavy dialogue, and pages of pages of pages of information of a scene or whatever, you're going to the gym and you're working out. So when it comes to training, I look at training as going to the gym. Right. And that's what we do. You go to the gym every day and you strengthen your craft. You work on your craft. So.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. The time went so fast. We are out of time. Thank you so much. I wish you the best in your acting careers. I hope to work with each of you soon. And I also want to send out thoughts to those in Florida and Puerto Rico and in that area. We are thinking of you and here with you. But thank you so much for joining us today. And you can connect with our panel. If you look in the comments, you can see all of their social media handles. So thanks again, Rasheda, Banza, and Lawrence. I appreciate you coming on. Have a wonderful day. Okay, our next event will be Tuesday, August 4th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, about getting repped, post-production edition. Keep an eye out for the newsletter for all events, new initiative announcements, and other happenings at BMC. This is the last week to submit your film for our film festival. $5. You can't beat that if you're a member. So sign up real quick before you submit on Film Freeway. Again, October 1st is the deadline. There are prizes. I hoping that someone would ask a question to see who could get that Da Vinci prize. Like us on our social media and follow us for updates. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Blackmagic Design and Sigma. And Kayla should be coming back on shortly to announce if we have a winner. Oh, we have a winner. Okay, she said how to pronounce her name. Let me go back up to that and see. K Island. K Island. Congratulations, you are the winner of the Da Vinci Resolve Studio. Woohoo! Thank you for joining us, K Island. Pretty name. We appreciate you. And we will reach out to you after the show to get you set up with that. And thank you again for everyone for tuning in. Have a great day. Give us feedback on the show today. Tell us how you liked it. What did you think of our guest? And how will this help you with your career?